Hey everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. Yeah, there's no tree here. It's time for the Willow Peninsula update show, and I didn't want to show it to you right away, so I'll be right back. Yeah, it didn't work. So a few months back I had noticed the critters were chewing at the bottom, and they chewed all the way around. And I tried to do a quick little air layer at the ground. Let's give you a quick peek at what happened back then. And there is the critter chop. So the nice thing about having it indoors for the last couple of days, you know, I had a little bit of grass in here that was growing, which we're going to get rid of this year when we repot later on after the air layer hits or doesn't hit. We'll see. But that means there's growth. You know, it's warmed up in here. Nothing's frozen in here. The roots of the grass has survived. I'm assuming the roots of the tree have survived. So now we're going to be able to kind of clean this out a little bit and try to work on an air layer. And we'll take away the bark and the cambium layer all the way around. And we're going to wrap this with some sphagnum moss, some saran wrap type stuff, and then we're going to hope we're going to get some roots from right here. But the squirrel got down there, or the mouse, the mole, the weasel, who knows what I've got crittering around. They got right down there to those roots. So I don't know what's going to pop up from those spots, if anything. So we're just going to continue to clean this up. So nice base where it consistently can spread out and hopefully get some roots. I'll work my way around, and you see the root hormone fell to the bottom portions all by itself, so I don't have to worry about that. We got some root hormone there. I'm certainly using more than I probably need. There we go. Okay, so I was able to get the first layer there. My cut's right below this sphagnum moss right here, but I want to get this first layer of wraparound so I know that I'm going to be able to get some around. So we've got our wrap around here. It's going to keep that nice and moist in there, and hopefully we get some roots growing from about here down to the bottom, and then we'll keep watering the bottom to keep the bottom going. And now I'm just going to go ahead and up here, and I'm just going to do a little bit of trimming. Yeah, it didn't take. I had roots that seemed to be starting through the plastic. It was hard to tell, but the best thing for me was that there was foliage that was pushing out. So I was getting some new growth, so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then everything died back, and nothing started growing. And after about 4, 5, 6 weeks, I opened up the bag just to see if there's any roots, and there were really none. So we're left with my empty peninsula. So it is time to clean out the peninsula, and we're gonna put a new willow in here. So I have this vision of willow trees from my youth, all the willows by ponds, that just big, epic willows that droop down, and they're by water. And so I made this pot. Someone asked me online with one of my shows, they asked, where'd I get that pot? It's not the best thing in the world I've ever made, but I got some clay to work with, some cement based forming stuff. And I made this pot here with a peninsula, right? So I fill this with water. And these are all rocks, kind of slate rocks collected up at the North Shore in Minnesota, where we go and hike a lot. And I put them all together to get kind of that rocky look. So we're going to take off the moss. There's quite a little section of moss here. And there is a stump right here. So we're going to see how much root structure this got. And there's roots all the way out to the end. It really clung to the crevices of these rocks. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at this right here. It's growing through the rocks. This root right here was growing through this rock right down here. So a lot of really good success with some of these roots. So I don't know if I don't remember if I tied it down. So a lot of really strong roots in here. There we go. There's the tie down. That's one of them. I don't know if I did more than one. I did do more than one. This thing was not going anywhere. This is probably the heaviest pot. This is the heaviest pot I own. It is a monster. But there's the tree trunk. And there's a lot of roots in there. Which is really exciting because I know it's going to work again. Look at all those roots. Fantastic. But, as fate would have it, the critters did me in. This black coating is the Flex Seal. So I put Flex Seal, gives it that rubber coating. It sealed in all the holes of the rocks really well, and the water stayed below this line right here. There's every once in a while there's a little crack back here with a leak. I can fix that. I'll probably fix it again this summer. So I'm going to give this a little bit of a wash, and we're going to put a new tree in it. Yeah, there's roots. Look at that. I just knocked this rock right off right here. These roots are growing underneath the rocks, which is fantastic. It'll be so natural looking when those roots continue to grow through that. I was hoping to transplant this this year and cut the roots back, and then I'd be on my way. So there's two screens that I Flex Sealed in place. This one has come loose. There's the Flex Seal rubber stuff there. So I'll have to put some wire here on this one to hold this one down in place like this. Those are my 3 drain holes for the pot here. So we make sure that we get a lot of drainage. So I'm just going to give it a bath and clean this out for a little bit. Now my goal today is not to get this spotless. Anytime there's natural dirt plugging up these rock holes and these roots here that I've found here between the rocks, that's good. That's just natural. I don't want this to be a pristine, brand new bonsai pot. This is nature. So I want it to look like as natural as possible. Even though, you know, this to this doesn't look that terribly natural. But when this is on one of my stands in my garden, and there's other plants and flowers and garden things growing around it, sometimes it kind of hides the pot a little bit. And then you just see the tree in all its glory. All right, so I have to put that screen back in. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And then we're gonna get the tree ready to put in there. And now I have some wire. But this will be sitting on a chunk of wood from the cabin. Okay, so there we have our pot. I need some wires to hold this tree down. So this is one of my other cuttings of willows. and it's got a really, you know, nice top so far. It's growing because after my cold frame fiasco, I put this inside the 60-degree room, 60 to 65. It started to sprout, which I knew it would, and now it's going to be in my plant room until we can take it outside. And it's even got some growth here on this short little branch here. We could cut it all back right here if we really wanted to. So that's going to go in there. But we have to have some tie downs. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare a couple of tie downs here. And so for my tie downs on this tree, I go two into the front and then one to each side. Time for the tree. A couple of minutes in here, and I see the my construction tape here, the sheetrock tape, which was keeping dirt in, I guess. I must have had bigger holes at the bottom of this nursery pot, so I put in sheetrock tape. Look at that. But look at the roots. So we got a lot of roots here. The nice thing about a willow tree, one of its, of course, wonderful features is the ease of cuttings. The roots grow super fast. There's a lot of growth every year, massive growth. The downfalls of a willow is that they have just random dieback. So you'll be going along and you'll have a great tree one year, and then all of a sudden you'll just have this really random dieback, and it might be a major branch. And so people don't do willows a lot. The other thing about willows is they're super flexible, and if you wire willows and they look real nice and willowy, they're weeping. This is a weeping willow, so if it weeps and you've got wires, you take the wires off, the branches go right back up. So some challenges with the weeping willow, but again, for me, this is a story tree. I love weeping willows, and I love the willow trees in and around the neighborhoods that I've grown up, going up to the cabin. My cabin right now up in the northern part of Minnesota is on a river, and there's only one willow tree on the river, but it captures my attention every single time we boat by it because I like the willows. And it's just something that I've liked all my life. And so in my bonsai craft, I want to strive to make a decent willow. The peninsula willow that perished was one of my best. It just had the most thickness, you know, it was growing really well. It was put into the peninsula, I think 2 seasons ago. It was just starting to look like a tree that had some promise. We're not going to keep all these roots definitely on a willow, because we know the willow is going to grow a lot of nice roots pretty fast. So hopefully this is the majestic willow. Do I have this as the front? That can't be the front because of this. So maybe this tree will grow over here more. You can put it up closer to the tip of the peninsula here, so it's not so far in the back. I could get some rocks back there. All right, let's see if we can get this middle chunk to flatten out more. Absolutely. We're getting most of the dirt. This is a tree like a maple that you could pretty much bare root. I've seen people grow these willows in a bonsai pot, and they put the pot in a bigger pot of water and just leave the standing water at the bottom, and the roots just keep growing out and love life. So this is a tree that does not mind to have lots of water. Got this really fine root here that I've just been mangling. We're going to take that guy off. This one's a little high up on the tree right here. We're going to cut him off. That one as well. And that's it. So let me get some bonsai soil in there. Again, with the coarse mix on the bottom, especially for those looser drain holes. That's all we need there. And then 1 handful of my mix right there. And this dead piece will come off. I'm not worried about the top so much on this tree. It's mainly this curve for movement. We could maybe angle it just a little bit. And I'm going to go this to this front, or actually I'll do the front to that back. And then this one this way to this back. I guess I was a little aggressive with my wiring there. So let's take a peek. Now we got a little bit of a slant. So it's growing a little bit this way and a little bit that way, all right? So we'll do this one first. Tree has nowhere to go now. Do the second one. Got a little movement on the mesh. Once those big rocks get back in there, you cover that up. All right. Now this doesn't go down very deep, and the roots were really flattened out nice. I flattened them out super nice. There's not going to be a lot of holes in here. Mainly it's just the soil that's bigger at the bottom. And I'll have to repair some of my rocks this summer, like right there. And because this tree likes so much moisture, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to give it a little bit of moisture up front. There was a good rainstorm. And then as this gets settled in the plant room, I'm going to put this back in the plant room. When we bring this back outside, we'll give it in shade for a while, and then we'll introduce it to the sun, always keeping this thing really well watered. Now this is a really shallow pot. This would be a shallow pot. This homemade tray there is no deeper than that pot. So I always have to remember that I always water this tree every single day, regardless. And because willows like water so much and their roots could be standing in water, that we're going to make sure that it is kept super hydrated. And there we go. So we're dripping like crazy on the bottom. I can hear it. There we have the Willow Peninsula. It is a sloppy mess, so I'm gonna have to clean this up a little bit before I traipse it through the house down into the plant room. But we got it growing at a slight angle to the left, not very much. I could have gone a little bit more aggressive on that. I could put a rock there too and hold it. Well, we got this tree coming back here, maybe for some texture here, and we might in the middle of summer here, because we can prune these willows 3 or 4 times in the summer and still get massive growth. So I might end up cutting this one right back here sometime. But I'm going to let this support the roots down below. I'm going to let the roots down below support this as best we can in a plant room with all kinds of great light, and we'll see what happens. So there is the Weeping Willow Peninsula reborn. The March sun is getting down awfully fast. I think it's already set for the night, so we're getting the dusk. And we're done with another tree. Thanks for joining me today. The Weeping Willow Peninsula has life. Follow me here on YouTube, subscribe, hit like, and we'll have updates on this all throughout the year this year. I'm hoping it fills the shoes of its predecessor, because the other one was so nice and beautiful. I'll show you some before and after shots here as we say goodbye. And hey, take care of yourselves, everybody. Take care of your bonsai, and we will see you soon on the next one.